Anyone that showed her any kind of attention or is like, can I have your number? She's like, oh my gosh, he's the one.
He is.
This is my best. Hi guys, welcome back to Duel Perspectives. I'm Diamond Simons.
And I'm Haseem Iman. And the March book of the month is Where's Haseem by Tanisha Stewart.
This story follows Stephanie, a 30-plus-year-old woman who's looking for love. And she thought she found it when she met Haseem until he ghosted her. And now Stephanie's putting herself in all kinds of crazy situations just to find him.
Let's get into it. So what I definitely want to point out about the book is that it's a really easy read. It's a very quick read. I know the last few books that we've read have kind of been dual perspectives. And where we're seeing both sides and what they think. And this book is solely focused on one person's view and idea. Mm-hmm. And what I will say is that reading it, I felt like, you know, when you get together with your girlfriends mm-hmm. and your girl's like, girl, let me tell you this crazy thing that happened to me the other day. Yeah. And, you know, so you're sitting there like, girl, tell me.
It was very personable. I felt like she was literally talking to me, like, don't judge me. She's like, don't judge me, girl. Don't judge me. But let me tell you what I did. Right. I know you might think I'm crazy, but here's what I did anyway. Yeah. So let me tell you.
Right. And then you're sitting on the other side like, girl, you did what? Right. I don't know how I feel about this. You know? But yeah, so it's really quick and easy. And she made the story sound like she was having a conversation with you as the reader, as opposed to, you know, you just kind of being observant into this character's life, essentially. Mm-hmm. So what did you think about the book?
So I agree with Samia. It was a quick read. It was easy. The font was nice and big, and you know, it didn't feel like you were just rereading the same page because it just goes on and on and on and on. Right. So I did like that about it.
Okay, well that's good. So some of the things that I wanted to point out that, you know, I just personally didn't care for as far as my taste in books and, you know, because let's face it, like when you read a book, you judge it from the cover all the way to the last page if you get through it. But and I just felt like the cover was a little bit misleading, you know, because the cover has this, you know, the girl I feel like is actually accurate to it. She, like the way that she looks on the cover is, I feel like, is accurate to how she sounds in the book. Yeah. Because there's not a lot of description on what she looks like. Yeah. And so pretty much all you have to go off of is the cover and hope that that's actually who she is. But when it came to Haseem and like the big house in the back, like I thought he was like some rich billionaire person, and she was trying to like, you know, scoop up in his life, you know, and then something crazy happened to where she had to go like searching for him.
Yeah, I don't know whose house. I think it's right up here in the corner. Yeah, I don't know whose house that is.
I don't know whose house that is.
She lived in an apartment. Yeah. Right? So yeah, I don't know where the house came from.
And she never went to Haseem's house, so we don't know what house he lived in. So so I just felt like it was a little misleading. I thought it was gonna go somewhere else and have a little more depth into that type of storyline, just based off of the cover. Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about these antics she got herself into to find this man. So
and she kept saying in the book, like, I know I'm being crazy. Don't judge me. Well, girl, I'm gonna do it anyway. Right. And it's like, but you are literally being like over the top. Like you barely know this dude. Yeah. And you were just going to the utmost extreme to find him. Or she was hella thirsty. I mean, but she says it. She says it in the book. Like I'm being thirsty. It's like, but that's not how you win them. Like why are you, you know? And, but I do like it was a happy ending. Which, you know, I like happy endings. Granted, if I were him, I wouldn't have been with her.
Right. But crazy. But yeah. I mean, but she didn't tell him what she did, up until that point.
She didn't, but even the way she acted when she found him, we don't know if she found him, right? Because you haven't read the book yet. But no.
Yeah.
The way she acted and was like, when she found him, it's like.
Yeah, exactly. And, just. My goodness. I get where her thirstiness is where we'll go with that is coming from, because they show parts in there where her family and her aunties are all shaming her about not being married and not having kids, and her cousin, who's 4 years younger than her, apparently is already married with a kid on the way and stuff like that, or she was engaged with a kid on the way. And, I feel like there's a lot of pressure for women. It's a double standard, because it's like we are supposed to get married and have kids by a certain age. So I get where it comes from, but I just feel like it was extreme for a guy you barely knew, and a guy who ultimately, could have been just as crazy,
I mean, if he goes ghost, ain't no telling what he's doing.
Right, exactly. And then can't nobody find him. Nobody knows where he is.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, maybe he doing something shady, and maybe you just, saved yourself the trouble.
But to her defense, he could have been dead in a ditch somewhere. But I don't think she was thinking like that.
No.
She wasn't even thinking like that. She's just like, oh, he must not like me. Oh, yeah. What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
After one date.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, and I feel like that's, I think that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, personally. She said she's crazy.
Yeah, she did. But I think but at the same time, like, I give her props for even having the confidence to, like, reach out to people and go, like, create this whole storyline to try to find him, But I don't know. I feel like I just would have liked a little more substance, maybe a little more description too, so I could actually know what she looked like, and instead of just being like, he fine, and stuff like that. Like, tell me how he's fine, like, give me something to.
I think she mentioned. I think she mentioned he was dark skinned.
Yeah.
And tall, like 6 inches taller than her, and he has an accent. Like, that's all. I really.
Yeah, and I think she said something. Oh no, that was one of the other guys. That was like the sideburns, but that was a different guy. Where she was leading up to her thirstiness, to why she was having trouble in love. But no, so she started out the book with, 3 guys who she was having issues with beforehand in her quest for love, and she's like, I didn't see the signs and everything like that. But it's like, it makes you wonder, like, if those are the last 3 guys that you can talk about, like, maybe there's a personality flaw somewhere.
And she never even dated those guys.
No, she never dated them.
She never dated them.
She just met them and was just like, oh, he could be the one. And I feel like that's also a detriment to your mental health, actually. Not everybody that you talk to is the one. Like...
Anyone that showed her any kind of attention or is like, can I have your number? She's like, oh my gosh, he's the one.
He is.
This is my best.
Which I guess also leads into the thirstiness that she had, and the need to find Haseem, because as I was reading, I was like, why don't you just go find someone else?
I know, her girlfriends are like, hey, let's go to the club. We could go meet some guys.
Yeah.
And even when she was at the club, she was like, oh, all these sexy men here. But she kept thinking about Haseem. And but it was just one date. And if he ghosted you or didn't want to talk to you,
I'm just saying, there's a show on MTV called Ghosted right now, and at least those people were actually in relationships with these people. And they ghosted. Really? Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go look that up. I wanna watch it.
I'm like, at least they were actually like in relationships and then they got ghosted, and so I feel like that's more of a conversation.
That's more of a ghosted.
Yeah, then you had one date and then he didn't call you back and be like, okay, well, obviously his fault, his loss, and keep it moving. I feel like truthfully, I guess if you really are looking to be in a relationship, there is a plethora of people out there that you could go and sink your thirsty little teeth in. So, focusing on this one guy. But
and 2, I can understand if he's like or if she is like calling him and texting him, and he's just disappeared. But I mean, he did disappear, but not in that way. It's not like she was reaching out to him and he just didn't want nothing to do with her. You know what I mean? She don't know why he never called after the date.
And she didn't get his number, which I feel like in 2019, I think the book came out in 2019, but in 2020, I'm like, if I'm giving you my number, you need to call me, text me immediately so that I have
it and I'll save it and I know who this is.
Right, because I'm like, if I don't know the number, I'm not answering, so you might as well let me know who you are so that I can go ahead and pick up when you call. Mm-hmm. And so, that was her mistake. And she had this whole thing like, well, I knew he was going to call, so I didn't get his number. And I'm like, and in my mind while I'm reading, I'm like, well, that's your fault.
Right.
And I'm like, and most guys too these days would be like, especially if they ask you for the number, they'd be like, hey, I'm going to give you mine so you know it's me when I call.
Right.
And so he didn't do that either, so I guess that's on him as well.
I mean, well, she was single for a long time, so maybe she just doesn't know the rules of the road.
These days, she's not in the 21st century yet.
Up with the times.
I mean, I get it, I guess. But either way, like, I feel like this book will speak to some people. I think they'll enjoy it. I think they'll probably have the same reactions as we have, like, or why, But you have to read the book to figure out why she did what she did and the crazy things that she went through to find this man. Mm-hmm. And then how everything transpired at the end.
Yeah. So another thing I know for sure, especially Samia, that we want to talk about with this book is the layout.
Oh.
How do you feel, Samia? How do you feel?
Feel like you're putting me on the spot here. But I'm a big, okay, so here's the thing. I get super annoyed when the layout is not right. And so one of the things, so when you're typesetting, if you typeset yourself, this usually happens. And I know I'm speaking all technical terms for people who probably only care to read it.
Readers like me. I'm like, when she said that to me, I was like, what? What's wrong with
But she pointed it out as soon as she opened up the book, and she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, so when you're typesetting, and usually when you're doing it yourself, you do like full justification, and it's supposed to space out the letters and the words so that it's an easy read. But what ends up happening is that it puts a large space between conjunctions. So you'll have can't, where you have the CAN and an apostrophe all together in a long space, and then you have the T, which caused me issues in some places because I thought that went with the next word, but it wasn't, and I was just like, oh, had to reread it a couple of times. But I would say for sure, like, double check before you publish. And I mean, this isn't a really long book, so I feel like she could have went back and fixed that before she published it, and because it shows up right on the first page, biggest day. So I was like,
so that was a little off-putting. It's like you kind of have to reread, or I think towards the end I got used to it. The big spaces right there, but at first it's like, it's just strange. It's like you have CAN apostrophe right here, and then T's there, and it's like, wait a minute, and like I here and in there, but you kind of get used to it towards the end of the book. But you shouldn't have to get used to something like that. That's something that should have been corrected. I'd say. Oh, and also, I know, because it's a personal book, and it's almost like reading her diary, and she's like, girl, like, let me tell you, there was a lot of slang in there, and a lot of I'm trying to think of an example, but instead of saying, oh, I'm going to go over there and talk to them, she's like, I'm gonna go ahead over there and talk to that person. It's kind of like you're listening to someone talk slang. versus reading something.
Right, like I said before, where it's like you're sitting at the table and one of your girlfriends is like, girl, let me tell you what happened the other day. So that's exactly what it feels like. And I feel like how you would talk to your girlfriend, especially if you're making a book where it's like she's talking to you directly, is going to be different than if you're creating this character that talks a certain way and you have to keep that accurate throughout the book, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and some of the slang got on my nerves too, but...
But for some people, for some of you, that might resonate with you, where you want to read something where it's really personable like that, where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, she's speaking my language. Yeah.
And I mean, the thing about it is that it's not a bad book. It's not bad. Yeah. You just kind of have to get through some of the typography and the personable aspects of it if you're not used to reading books that are that personable.
Right.
But I feel like, I mean, it's crazy, the stuff that she gets into, and I think that it would be interesting to know what other people's takes are on what she did to find this guy. Like, is that something that you would do?
Yeah, if you were looking for somebody? Like there's someone out there that just might feel like
this is my life.
What's wrong with what she did? Like, I do that on a regular.
Right.
I mean, I've done some of the things, you know, looking up stuff or whatever. Yeah. But to the extent that she took it, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about research and figuring things out. But when it comes to relationships, and especially if it's a guy that I just met, I'm not that invested to care.
Especially to try to involve other people in your shenanigans.
Right.
I'm
just not that invested to go hunt you down just because I think you might be the one. But there's no guarantee there, you know, like one date does not equate to being the one. So, if you want to get the book, you can get it on Amazon. We'll have a link for it down in the description. And we want to know what you thought about the book, what you thought about the crazy shenanigans she got into to find this man. And also, what have you done to find someone that you were looking for? And let us know if it was after one date or if it was or if there was actually some investment in there before you started going on the search hunt. The hunt, whatever. Going on the hunt for finding this person. Like, wasn't there a show where they did like investigations to go find people?
Catfish.
No, it wasn't. Well, I guess it was Catfish, but that's more like online dating.
Yeah, but they went to the same extent.
That's true.
Yeah. That's
true. So, yeah. But, you know, maybe he wasn't a catfish. But I was thinking there was another show out there. Probably an older show.
Cheaters?
That's the other one I was thinking about. But I didn't want to say Cheaters because nobody's cheating technically. But anyway, let us know if you have gone through any crazy situations or shenanigans to find someone. And let us know how long you waited to do it. Like, was it after one date or did you have some investment? But until next time with our April book of the month, we will see you next month. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. If you like what you saw today, then make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Love ya.
Blah blah blah, and then I'll be like, okay. And I was like, so here's